welcome to the Blue Sofa. Today, I'm inviting you into a really inspiring and really transparent conversation with someone who truly understands what it takes to create an aligned business, and that is my friend Allison Hardy. Allison is an email marketing expert, and I want to say she's kind of the queen in email automations. I met Allison on a mastermind that I attended to in 2023. And we have been working together in this mastermind for a full year. And we met in person, like really met, not just online. I think it was in May or June 23 in Palm Springs. So absolutely amazing weekend. And I got to know her very, very well. And I'm so happy to introduce her to you today. We talk about in this episode how Allison has built her momentum in her business through messy middles. So how she actually have been keep on aligning and adjusting her business so it was suiting her needs and around her family and around what she wanted to achieve in her business, and how email marketing automation have been such a big part of this. So if you ever really felt like you always have to be on in your business to get results, or you're just craving more structure and flow in your marketing, and even if you're going through a hard time right now and wanted to pivot your business, or you're just in the deep end of the messy middle, I really think this conversation will land soft in you. So let's dive in.
Hello, my name is Allison Hardy. I live in the U.S. I'm in Arlington, Virginia. We're right outside of Washington, D.C., which is a wild ride these days. I do email marketing, so I help coaches, experts, entrepreneurs sell their thing, whatever it is, their thing that they do, membership, course, VIP day, group coaching program, your genius packaged into some sort of package. Help them sell that thing on autopilot using email marketing. I have a membership where I teach people how to do it, and then I do done for you work where I do the work for you. And that has, really afforded me to do is to really help people build this portion of their business that is totally hands off, and it's like this launch that runs in the background that they don't have to actively show up for every single day. And me, I don't know about you, but for me, that's what dreams are made of, is being able to, sell your thing when you're not actively working. Because a lot of my people, they start businesses to do the thing that they're really good at. They didn't start businesses to be like a marketer and to be a constant salesperson. So I come in and help them to do more of what they love doing.
Yeah, that sounds so good. And I mean, I know my audience, and I know yours as well, are passionate people, and they really want to impact and change the world, basically, whatever they're good at. So yeah. I'm a big fan of email marketing, and you know that. I think it's like hiring the best salesperson in the world to show up and spread the message of whatever you're doing. So I absolutely love it. How did you get into email marketing?
It's a bit of a winding story.
That's what we love. We love the crazy stories. Yeah.
Well, here we go. Buckle up. Okay, so I started in the workforce as a college level, so university level art professor. I had the job, I had the degree.
Art? Like in art?
Like painting?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I got the job when I was, 25? And I was like, yep, here we go. This is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I was super proud of that because I was the first person in my family to go to college. And then, working at a college, what? It was just such a very, a 180 from how I was raised. And I was really, really proud of that because that was all me, right? And then, when I was 28, I got called to human resources, HR, and they're like, hey, we're laying you off and you no longer have this job. Oh, and by the way, I was 6 months pregnant with my now 11-year-old. So that was a wild ride. And the thing about like how the university system is here is that like it was April, and all the jobs get hired in March. So like I wasn't going to be able to find a new job until like 11 months. And then like the jobs actually start in August. So like we're looking at like 18 months or so.
Yeah.
So it's
With a
like
baby,
sorry.
yeah, with a baby being a new mom.
Yeah, with a baby. Yeah.
That's not what.
So I had this like, it was devastating. Like it was a whole like not only like financially for us, but also like self-worth and like what in the world am I doing with my life? Um so thank goodness I had this like super part-time personal training business that I ran randomly. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to like we're going to go all in on this. And the thing that I was doing at the university was not only teaching, but I was also working in the galleries. So, but my role in the galleries was a lot of the marketing of the exhibitions and the artists and our schedule. And like I did a big membership thing with them. And so I had a lot of like marketing experience. So I was able to take that personal training business and grow it pretty quickly. And then people were like, hey, how are you doing that? Like, can you explain to me how you just grew your business so quickly? And for me, I was just kind of like, oh, well, I mean, I just like sent out some emails and did some social posts and like reached out to people like a human, and we just had conversations, and then they hired me. And like people just, I realized they didn't know like how to do that stuff. So to make a long story short, it eventually evolved over time into me just like leaning into email marketing, because I found that was the thing that just really people just did not understand. Because like a lot of people, you can consume like social media account, like social media manager or expert accounts, and like get a good, they could deliver enough free value that like you can kind of like see some traction. Email marketing, because it's so like, I guess behind closed doors, right? You have to be kind of subscribed. There wasn't a lot of people that actually knew like how to successfully send out emails that actually sold their stuff. And they didn't know how to like nurture an audience and then, invite them to join their program in a soulful, heart-centered way.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, let's just like niche down hard into this email marketing thing. And let's see what happens. And here we are.
Wow. That is so nice. But how did it all, because the thing we really like here in my space is we love their inspirational stories, like where we can, and like the behind the scene, the process behind the process, because I'm sure there are a lot of like messy middles in your story.
So much.
So, I mean, can you maybe just take us a little bit behind the scene on what actually happened um, during that phase in your life,
Yeah.
like your entrepreneurial journey with, because I know you don't only have one child, you have two.
I have two.
You have
Yes.
two. And so I'm sure there was like an extra pregnancy and all that good stuff going on.
Yeah.
A lot of the female entrepreneurs listening here are moms,
Mm-hmm.
or wanting to be moms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always nice to hear like what happened, what did you do, and what worked and what didn't work, and how did you feel, and how did you get yourself out of the messy middle and into like a more soulful progress, basically.
Yeah. So Camden is now my 11-year-old. He's the one that I was pregnant with when I got laid off. After having him, I had really, really, really bad postpartum depression. And it just like, it rocked my world. I was not expecting it. Nobody was really talking about it at that time. And it was just kind of like, oh, you'll snap out of it in 3 months. And then like 3 months came and went, and I felt worse. And I was like, and like, you're running this business after like being laid off. And I was just like, well, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? And I actually was having coffee with one of my friends, and I was just kind of like sitting in like 4-day-old yoga pants with my hair in like a messy bun, which is like not me. And she was like, Allison, I don't know like what needs to change, but like, and she did this. She was like, something about this is
Oh
no
my,
longer working for you. And I was like, yeah, you're right. But I needed her to like, I needed someone else to say it,
yeah,
so that I could actually figure it out. So like on that day, she kind of gave me permission. I needed the permission for
yeah,
whatever reason to like do something about the postpartum depression. Um, so medicine was great in helping with that.
Yeah.
But also she said to me, like, your business needs to like work for you instead of you work for it. She was like, you've built yourself like another 9 to 5. And she's like, I can't blame you because that's all we know. So yeah, of course that's how you're running your business. But like, she's like, from what I understand about businesses is like, you don't have to run it like a 9 to 5. So like, I don't think you want that, or I don't think you can have that right now because things are so like hard. Um, so like, what does that look like for you? What can you do differently? What can you build? What can you implement to help you like not be in the 9 to 5? And like just that question really sparked a lot of interest in me. And I really like I took a step back from social and I was like, okay, because social's so like you have to be on and you have to post a certain amount of times. And like I love Instagram. It's my favorite place to hang out. But I know not everybody loves that. But also, like she was like, "What's a sustainable way that you build your business?" And that's when I got really one of the times I got like really sold on email marketing,
Yeah.
and so that's when I got serious about growing my email list, and that's when I got serious about actually emailing the email list, and then that evolved into other things, but it was just kind of like I needed that permission from her almost to be like, "Hey, this isn't working. You
Yeah.
need to figure something else out."
Wow, what an
And
angel.
I
Like,
know,
what an angel. I
I
mean,
know,
I know it's not nice to hear at the moment when all your emotions are like up till here,
yeah.
but wow, what an angel. Don't you
Yeah.
think what I find interesting because I think more people than we know or we hear about have the same experience. I had the same experience with my first child. Nobody talked about postpartum depression or what your hormones actually do to your mood without you knowing it. And I think like some of that, like not having the knowledge, but also something happens with us when we give birth to a child. Like we just go into full blown sacrificing everything mode and just like, whatever works for the child. I don't care if I have to work like 25 hours a day and like not sleep at all and feel absolutely not great. Isn't it true? I think it's like that hope, that like sacred sacrifice, a little bit out of balance.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely like, I think like we're programmed for that. Like, I think like society tells us that's how it has to be. But I also think that as a mom, we are predispositioned to be nurturers. And for some people, that, like, I think that is like the overall arching theme. But for some people, that looks very different. And so I think some people go into the like self sacrifice, yes. But I think other people go into like different kind of like versions of that. And so for some people, it's like, I'm changing everything about my entire life and like I'm a new person and that's great and beautiful for them. Other people, I think it's like, okay, I'm gonna, I just think there's other motivators out there too for people. And I think that they, like, all of it stems around like this, like, new version of yourself that you
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
Um, but
At this,
also like the old part of yourself kind of like dying and going away because
yeah,
like you're never the same.
it's super confusing.
It's super confusing.
Well, looking
Yes.
looking back, I'm like, it was super confusing, but you don't know what you don't know. So when you're sitting there with a child, you're like, do I have postpartum depression? Nobody knows. And
Nobody
you
knows.
don't even know it before you meet someone who tells you, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know if I'm okay.
Is
I,
this how this is supposed to be?
didn't take a shower. Nobody knows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that was like my whole thing. I kept saying to myself, like, is this how it's supposed to be? Is this just how
Yeah,
it is?
yeah. I remember asking myself that. I'm like, I know I love the child.
Yeah,
I love my husband most of the time.
right.
Yeah. I know this is very confusing.
Yeah. No, and like nobody, you can read all the books, you can read all the stuff, you can learn all the stuff, like you can have all the knowledge, and I still don't think you are ever prepared for it.
Nope, not the first one. That's for
No,
sure.
no. And then even like I just found, I know for some people, like going from 1 to 2 is really hard, or going from 0 to 1 is really hard. For me, it was 0 to 1. Like that first kid just really rocked my world. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what happened after that? I mean, that must have been like a huge, like, would you call it a breakthrough, a turnaround, or?
It was just a big aha moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I always go back to like the permission. It was almost like she granted me permission to do things differently. So that's when. So after that, I was like, okay, like let's burn parts down. So I burnt down like anything. Like I was doing in person personal training, like going to people's houses. So I would wake up at like 5 a.m. and go train people, or I'd go to their like house on their lunch break, or I'd go to their house after school, after work. So I was working in these like really weird times because I had to meet my people where they were. So I stopped doing that, and I really leaned on a membership model for that business. So I started doing these like, I would plan people's workouts for them, but I would say like, watch this video to do this exercise. And so it was just like this like bank of, exercises, and then like they would like follow the directions basically. And that was when I feel like that was when I became like a real entrepreneur, because I was like, okay, I created this thing.
Yeah.
And now I need to market it. And I was like, how are you going to market it,
That's
Allison?
a
Like,
huge quantum leap, actually. Yeah.
yeah. And that was a great lesson in
Yeah.
like launching and retention rates, which is a wild ride in and of itself. Of making sure that the right people are in your program, of getting the right people into your email marketing so that your email marketing actually works. Like
Yeah.
that's when I think I became an actual like
Yeah.
professional in the
Yeah.
like marketing space. And then
Yeah.
after that, I had the confidence to be like, I can actually help other people do this too. Because that's what started happening, was people started being like, other personal trainers were like, can you show me what you're doing? And I was like, yeah, like here's here's what I'm doing. And they're like, can you do it for me? Or like, can you like teach me how to do it? And I was like, yeah, for money. Like you can
Yeah,
pay me for
exactly.
that.
Boundaries.
And like as soon as I realized that that was something that I could get paid for, because I never like, you have all the imposter syndrome, like I'm not actually an expert in this thing, but I was, because people were like, show me how you're doing it. And I
Yeah.
needed that, again, another like permission slip
Yeah.
to like actually sell those services and those offers to help people. And then that became the thing that I really loved. Like it was just those like conversations of having about marketing, of about like, how are you generating leads, how are you selling, like that just like lit me up. I loved talking about that.
It is nice. And because it is like, I think when you understand the process of getting to that client that you really, really love working with, it becomes so interesting. Like if you talk about apples, you will get apples. If you
Yeah.
talk about bananas, you will get bananas. And once that click, it's like, oh, everything I dream about, the people I dream about, the vibe I dream about, the impact I dream about, it's, that end goal of having those amazing people that are just like my soulmate clients. That's the marketing.
Yeah.
It's kind of like attract them into that
Yeah.
space, those products. I mean, that once that click, then it becomes super exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that people, I think they stop before they have that breakthrough. I think it's
Yeah,
because it's hard. Like I'm not trying to like make things sound like they're easy, because they're not. But it's like super hard leading up to that. And there's so many failures and so many like missteps and so many like wrong directions you go in. But if you're stubborn enough to like not give up, I strongly believe that like the most successful entrepreneurs, the reason why they're so successful is because they just never gave up.
I
So they just kept trying
100%
things
agree.
over
I
and
agree.
over and over again until they got results. And then they're like, okay, these are the results. This is how I got here. Let's do more of that. And then they just, went full on in that direction.
Exactly. I mean, the ability to not let failure become a personal thing, not let it be about you,
Yeah.
and the rinse and repeat. Like
Yes.
understanding, or like, recognizing this worked, and the reason why it worked was because I said this and I did this. And
Yes.
then just rinse and repeat.
Yes.
That's
Do it
that's
over and over and
yeah.
over again.
That's like that golden moment we're all looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't know it until you get to it. And I don't think anyone can like help you get to it, honestly. I think like you have to get to it.
You
Um,
have to get to it. Like you can get support, you can
yes.
get encouragement, you
Yes.
can learn skill sets to get you to that point, but nobody can tell anybody what that looks like in a business, because
Yeah.
it's all about your own communication and your marketing and understanding your numbers, basically.
Yeah. And being willing to know all that stuff. I think that's
Oh
the other
yeah,
side of it.
yeah, true,
Yeah.
true. I don't know about you, but were you ever scared of your numbers?
Always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I think that's the reason. That's the reason why we don't really
That's my conclusion anyway. It was like if I were willing to like remove the numbers from my worth,
Yeah.
I would have looked at them and I would have understood sooner. Okay, this is what people want from me.
I also think that when you first start looking at your numbers, there's a lot that you don't understand.
Yes.
So it's like you're almost like protecting yourself from like calling yourself out and like this is something you need to work on, some more things you need to work on, right? So I think it kind of like keeps you out of the know in a way to self preserve yourself, but you're actually self sabotaging yourself
It's true.
because you're not doing the work to learn what they actually mean.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's really true. Yeah, and interesting because I was actually just talking to a friend just before we got on this interview, and she said that something really bugged her, and then she said, "I know that because some person didn't communicate in a way, or it was like super confusing for her," and she was like, "But I know this is a pattern of mine. It's just showing up right here again." In a new way. So I think it's so interesting because when I was just listening to what you were saying and then I was like reflecting because for me it was my self-worth. I really felt like worth less because my business didn't work. And what I just realized was that it was a pattern, and once I healed that worthiness, I was like okay with the numbers. They didn't have any control over me anymore. So it will look different, I feel, from each person to each person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So that was kind of a deroute about about numbers. But anyways, I want to know more about what happened on your journey.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you do? Like you did the quantum leap. Yeah. So you changed from in person to a more membership based model.
Yeah. That changed a lot of things. And then, so after I shifted to like doing email marketing for people or teaching them how to do it, I didn't really, it was very much so like, this is how you just write an email. There wasn't like a lot of strategy behind it. There wasn't a lot of like, there were no funnels yet. And funnels are, an amazing way to sell while you're not working. And that's really like the ultimate goal, I think, for a lot of people. I got really sold on email funnels and like having an actual strategy behind your emails during COVID. So when COVID struck here in the US, my kids came home for 18 months. My husband was a chaplain at a hospital and like worked with families of COVID patients. And like things were crazy. So I had like maybe 2 hours a day to work. So like this like the emails were fine. They were doing their job. They were getting like for what we were doing at the time, it was fine. But given this new challenge, it was like, okay, I need the emails to actually be the whole thing. So I couldn't rely on these live webinars that, sell the thing or the 3-day challenges or all that live stuff I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I need to be able to sell, like actually sell when I'm not working. And so like, can I develop an email funnel that replaces that live stuff?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have like the bandwidth or the physical time to actually do the live things. So I got super curious and I was like, I wonder if like I could, can a funnel do that work for me? And during that time, like literally in the corner of my basement in between like Legos, I built this like weird crazy funnel at first. And at first it was like, of course, a miserable failure. I spent way too much money on Facebook ads and got all these people through it. And it was like womp womp, 0 sales.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm honestly laughing because I know.
Everyone's done it, right? And like
Everybody's done it, yeah.
like you have to kind of do it to figure out what doesn't work, right?
Talking about numbers again, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what's working and what's not working until you see what's working and what's not working.
Yes, and it's like staring you in the face. Yeah. So that's when I got really sold on email funnels, is like doing the work and continuing to drive traffic to it and continuing to look at the numbers and continuing to get nerdy and like being willing to try like weird things inside my funnel. And that's how I landed on like what I teach today. Like 2020 was like the turning point for my business in another way, because it went from just like email marketing to like email marketing and email funnels.
Yeah.
And really like for real this time, like life proofing the business. And so I think that was like another bigger leap in my business, where I went from like, the first leap was like from like hobbyist to actual professional. And this was, I was like professional to like actual expert in the space. Because I had a system, because I had like a process I knew worked and I could duplicate for other businesses. That's when also like things started really to get cool, because again, it even removed me more from the business and really maximized the time that I was able to spend in the business. And so it's a completely automated system that runs in the background. So like today I was driving home from a speaking event, which is super cool. I loved doing it. And I had a sale come through because of that system that I developed in 2020. Now it's 2025 and it still works.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. There's like two things I would like to like dive a little more into. The first thing is, I love how you design your business around the phase you are in your life.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can tell a little bit more about it, but what I notice is like the online space, it's a very loud space and there's a lot of voices going on all the time. Everybody's beating their own drum, and like of course as a business person you have to radically believe in what you're doing, and I
Yeah.
understand that. But I think from for example, the perspective of our clients, the coaches, the healers, the therapists, the experts, and whatever, I think it's interesting to look at what is actually working. Because, well, my opinion is that everything works.
Yeah.
Just what works for you, where you are in the phase of your life right now. Like,
Yep.
can you talk a little bit about the shift you made from being a lot alive and then having 2 hours a day?
I could be proactive about these things. I wish like it wasn't like life happened first and then I adjusted the business. It was like I adjusted the business and then life happened. But that's it's
not
it's
how
how
it
it goes. It's
Yeah.
how it goes, right? I think that when life comes at you, you have no choice but to adjust. But I also think that as entrepreneurs, we have the beauty of being an entrepreneur is that we can do that. Whereas if you are in a 9 to 5, it's a very different situation. So while it's hard and like super inconvenient and like really stressful, I'm not like trying to negate it. I'm just saying like the blessing that is entrepreneurship is that we can shift and move things around. And everything is figure outable and everything works, like you said. And so like the live stuff worked for a while and it was good and it converted and like, yay. But a new level of business came, or a new level of life came at me, but that also allowed for a new level of business to also like come up from
I
that.
love that. I love that.
Yeah. So I think like, again, it's hard. I'm not negating that it's not hard.
I agree. Like
Yeah.
the resistance, the pressure, and the frustration of why can't I just stay where I am?
Yeah.
But life just beckons you to evolve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that like it's kind of required though as an entrepreneur. Like I think you go through these like seasons where things work and that's great and that's wonderful, but then something happens and like that is no longer available to you. So you have to change and you have to shift. And I'm kind of in that right now. Like I'm really like reanalyzing like my sales process and like what it looks like and how are we getting our leads and like where are they coming from and what's the best quality, and like I'm feeling like there's something else that's like on the other side of that, because I find a lot of times when you're like kind of in it and like not like everything feels hard and you're kind of like feels like you're like going through molasses and everything is just like moving really slowly, that signals that there's like something else on the other side of it. But you have to like be willing to do the work in the mud in order to see what's on the other side of it.
That's really true.
Yeah, I think that's what it's not all about, but I think that's a part of it.
But that's like the second thing that I really want to dive into. When life happens, or like even though a change is ignited by COVID came and I have 2 hours a day, or I got fired, I need to figure this out, or whatever happens, like that's like one way of change, initiating change. Another way is, as you talked about now, like something happens in your business, or what you did isn't working that great anymore, or the way you run your business needs to change because you have too many clients, or yeah, whatever. That can like initiate a change too. But what I feel is super interesting is you could have chosen to go full on depression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you could have chosen to, every time something like this happened, you can always choose to give up, but you chose the quantum leap. So that's like one thing. And what I find so interesting is before a quantum leap, there is like a breakdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happened? What went through your mind, so to speak, or through your heart or soul or whatever, that made you choose to level up instead of just saying, I'm gonna get a job, or
Yeah. I'm kind of unemployable at this point. Like, I've been out of my 9 to 5, if that's what you want to call it, for so many years now that I think like I actually wouldn't get hired as a college level teacher anymore. So I think, like, I mean, I got laid off 11 years ago. So like things have changed in the academic space, and I haven't shown my art in probably like 8 years. So it's been quite some time. So there's that. So I think that is, I think, a part of it, because like I have to make this work at this point. Like I got to make it happen. Also, like I'm unwilling to like not be home when my kids get off the school bus, or like I'm not willing to say no to like field trips. Like I want to do those things. That's like really important for me. And we have a lot of life. Like my husband works on the weekends because he's a pastor. Makes sense. My kids play sports on the weekends, and like I have to be able to show up because like sometimes my husband can't because he's working. So like I think a lot of it is like this is just how it has to go, and that's just how it is. I think the other side of it is like I know if I were to go back to a 9 to 5, like I know I wouldn't be happy. And that's really important to me because I've experienced depression. I know what that's like, and I don't want to do that. So like how can I make this business work in a way that helps people and also helps myself?
Yes, yes. But I think you're underestimating yourself a little bit, I want to say. I'm just saying because this is credit to you. Most people, they give up or they stay at the same level. So they would say, for example, they would say, I'm just saying it takes a different kind of person to go for the quantum leap. Like doing something different, completely changing their business model. It really takes a special kind of person to do that. Most people, they repeat what they know. Repeat, and then they expect miracles to happen, right? But miracles will not happen unless you do like the quantum leap. You do something completely new in a completely new way. Yeah. So there must be something inside of you that believes in that possibility or have the courage to do it. Can you like put words to that? Or
I think that's kind of just maybe it's how I'm programmed. Like I was the first person in my family to go to college. I was the first person in my family to like do a job that's not like it's not a blue collar job. It's a white collar job. And I think that's just how I'm wired. Like I think it's just how I think about things. And I see it in my kids a little bit. So I don't know if that's like my influence on them or if it's genetics or what. But it's cool to see it in them because I'm like, oh, that's me. That's because of me.
Welcome, kids.
You're welcome. Yeah. You got pale skin and a weird desire. Yeah. And then like, I see my husband sometimes and my kids and I'm like, oh yeah, that's your dad. There you go. It's cool. So I don't know. I think that's just kind of how I am.
Yeah, but that's some very nice skills. Not everybody have them.
Yes. Yeah. I also saw my parents like struggle a lot when I was little. They're like blue collar folks, and they, did their best with the hand they were dealt. And a lot of like what motivates me is like, I don't want that. Like, that's why I went to college. Because my parents were not like, we go to college people. My parents actually told me, when I told them that I want to go to college, they were like, we're not those types of people. And I was like, well, I think I am. So I think a lot of my motivator also is like, I don't want what my parents had.
Yeah. That's what we call the generational curse breaker.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. It's good.
Yes.
I strongly believe that we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors and parents, and they give us like all the best they can give us. But it is our job to look at, what do I like? What patterns do I want to repeat? What mindset do I want to repeat? And what do I want to change? And that completely like lays out a different path, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm super grateful to my parents for everything they did. But yeah, I remember like when I was little being like, I don't think I want that. And that's cool for them, but I don't think that's for me. And that was just like when I was able to like see that, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, it totally makes sense, but also makes sense why you chose the path you chose, because as you say, you're just wired to take a quantum leap because that was what you always did, Yeah, despite like what everybody else is thinking, because sometimes the safest thing is to be like everybody else.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is-
It's so much easier to be like everybody else and to blend in. And when you step out, it's scary and it can feel very vulnerable when you get lots of labels, whether or not you want them or not. It can be hard. But if it's like what you feel you're supposed to do, then you have to do it.
Do you know the fairy tale The Swan by H.C. Andersen, the Danish?
Yes. Yeah.
It's about an ugly duckling that gets beat up like a crazy by hens because he got away from his family, got away from his tribe, and then he was raised amongst hens, and they thought he was so ugly and so ugh. So they just like picked at him and beat him up. And at some point he got enough. It was too much pain, and he felt so lonely and wrong and ugly. And then he looked at the swans, and he was like, "Oh, this is so beautiful. I feel drawn to them. Those are my. I feel this is my family, but I'm too ugly. I'm too wrong. I'm too inadequate." And then at some point he escapes, and the swans recognizes him as a swanling, and then takes him in, and then he grows up to be a swan.
Oh.
And I think it's just such a beautiful fairy tale or story about finding your tribe and finding your people and allowing yourself to be the swan that you actually are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. The swanling.
All the feels.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It is. Yeah. So I feel a lot of people who like share your story kind of connects with that. Well, I was an ugly dog. I'm not saying you're an ugly dog, but I was like an ugly duckling in this place, and I wanted something else, and now I'm a swan and staying where I am, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So, here in the blue sofa, and we're cheating today because we're actually not in the blue sofa, which is like
I know.
100% cheating. And you should come to Denmark, and we could do like in the blue sofa.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
Be on cool.
It'd be like a bucket list situation for me.
Yes, exactly. But we always share a soulful secret in the blue sofa because we're all about gossip, or whatever secrets we can like get out of people.
Yeah.
So before we end, do you have a soulful secret to share with us today?
Yeah, I think it's kind of on the same lines of what we talked about today. I think that a lot of us, in life, business, both see like something that's not working, but we are scared of it. Like we're like, oh, I'm not gonna mess with it because it's hard or uncomfortable or you don't know what your next move is. I really think like on the other side of that is like something that's really cool that you don't even know exists yet. So like if you can figure out a way to like work through that, and it's going to be hard, it's going to be messy, it's going to be so inconvenient, it's going to make you question everything. But if you can get on the other side of that, I really think like what's over there can really be super impactful, not only for you, but for your family, your community, your clients, whatever the thing is, the world. But I also think you kind of know what you need to do. Like I think we have intuition, and that gives us like kind of gives us the answers. And you may not have the whole like path, but like you have like a step that you think like, I think this is probably what I need to do next. Like take the step, see what happens, and then like take the next step. And I think it will kind of like unravel in front of you. But like no, it's going to be scary and hard, and that's okay. And that's a part of the process.
Yeah, that is a lovely soulful secret.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, it's like almost like the dogling.
Almost, yeah.
Dogling in real life. I love that. Well, thank you so much. Do you want to share where we can find you?
Yeah,
If
sure.
we want to talk to you, where can we find you?
Sure. Yeah. Come hang out with me on Instagram, Allison_Hardy_. And then I have this super cool resource. It's called the $80,000 email template. And it was the singular email that brought in $80,000 in sales last year in my business. So I give you the template, a plug and play template. I give you the actual email and then an explanation of the strategy. And so if that's something you would find valuable, I'd love for you to come and download it.
You should for sure download it. I mean, I'm going to link it here below. And everybody who loves to take a look at that one should do it because Allison rocks at emails, basically.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing and for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
It was lovely. Always lovely. And
I love it. Well, now I'm definitely going to have to start.
So good.
I hope this conversation with Allison gave you both some strategy, but also some hope to carry forward in your business journey. I mean, from embracing the messy middle to building systems that support her energy and time, I really feel that Allison's story is such a great reminder that success really do not have to mean sacrifice. It can come from alignment and automation and of course trust, and trusting yourself and trusting the process through all the mess basically. So if you want to know a little bit more about Allison, I just linked her email template for you. You can grab that, and also her Instagram profile, and you can grab that too. If you want to and you feel inspired by this episode, do please share it, subscribe, and also go to Instagram and tell me and Allison what you really liked about the episode. I also included a link for my own masterclass called Rising Starter Masterclass, and this is where I teach you how to build a six-figure business online. So if you want that, you can grab it. It's free for 7 days. Okay, until next time, have an absolutely stunning day, and I will see you in next week and the next episode of The Blue Sofa.